Hi everybody, Mark here with the Average Me channel. Today we're going to talk about some suggestions and hints for flying with Southwest Airlines. Hi everybody, Mark here with the Average Me channel. Today we're going to talk about flying with Southwest Airlines. Now everything here is not sanctioned by anyone. It's my opinions and my experiences. Flying with Southwest, I am a frequent flyer across a lot of different airlines, so I do have good points of comparison. Now Southwest is different than a lot of airlines in that they do not have assigned seating. So let's talk about what you can expect when you buy your seats with Southwest and a couple of tricks and pointers you might keep in mind. Now, as I said, Southwest does not have assigned seat. What happens when you get your boarding pass? It's going to have a group number, a boarding number on it. It might say something like A31 or B57. That is the order that you're going to get onto the plane. Now that has some advantages, it has some disadvantages. Some people have a tendency to cheat and sneak a little bit, so we'll talk about all of that. First of all, let's talk about in its rawest form what this boarding process looks like. Now you're going to get to the airport and you'll have your boarding pass, or you will go to the check-in desk to check your bags and you'll get a boarding pass. Now I think this is a good time to point out that right now, as this video is being made, Southwest Airlines allows 2 free checked bags. I would strongly recommend, since it's free, check your bags because it just makes the boarding process so much easier. If you have extra carry-ons, some people just really like to carry a lot of carry-ons, rollaboard, shoulder bags, purses. According to airline policy, you should have 2. You should have a rollaboard under 22 inches and 1 personal item, which they identify as things like personal computers or purses. People push that to the limit. I have seen people bring on big giant duffel bags and they'll have 2 full-size suitcases and I say full-size, around the 22 inches as their carry-on and their personal item, and they still have their personal computer, so people really push it. So sometimes those overhead compartments get really full. So first of all, I'd recommend, if you can, and you don't have anything you really need in that bag during the trip, go ahead and check the bag. Now, when you get your boarding pass, you can get it one of 2 ways. Number one, you can, well, one of 3 ways actually. Number one, you can get it when you get to the airport. You go there, check in, you'll probably have to go up to the kiosk, and depending on the airport, you can fill out all your information on the kiosk. You will need your confirmation number. So make sure whatever your confirmation number is, you'll get that on your confirmation email when you get your ticket. Make sure you have that because they'll ask you for that at the kiosk when you check in. The other option might be, depending on the airport, to go up to the desk and check in, and they'll take your information there. You will need a form of ID, a picture ID, like a driver's license or a passport. If you do it at home, you just go through the Southwest site. Now, this is really important what I'm about to tell you. Southwest Airlines opens its check-in 24 hours before departure. So if your flight leaves Monday at 10 a.m., you may check in Sunday at 10 a.m. Be ready to check in on the button. What I always do when I have Southwest is I get onto the Southwest app and I'm all ready to check in. I say I want to check in. It'll ask for my name. It'll ask for my confirmation number, and I put that all in, and I wait until that time on my phone clicks over to 10 o'clock and I push check in. The reason is everybody else is trying to check in, and you want to make sure that you get a high boarding number. So when I do it that way, if I'm lucky, I will get in the A's. The first boarding group is going to be A1 through A30. They'll all get on, and then the second boarding group, I'm going to clarify this a little later, but the second boarding group is A31 through A60. So that means you're one of the first 60 or so people that get on that plane. The longer you wait, the further back you get in that pecking order. So I would try to log in exactly 24 hours before that flight. If you miss it by a half hour, 45 minutes, sometimes you're way in the C section, which means if you're traveling with a companion, you might not find seats together, or you're crammed in the middle seat between two strangers, crunched up like that. So try to get early boarding. Now let's talk about what really happens. I said I'm going to explain it. Here's what really happens. You get there and you're going to find that when people line up, there's little posts, okay? There's little posts in the airport. And one post will say A1 through 5. And the next post will say A through 6 through 10. Next post will say A11 through 15. And you're supposed to line up in between those posts based on your number. And you will see a lot of times you'll look over and the A section will be rather empty. The reason is because Southwest sells early bird check-in. Right now, early bird check-in costs $15. What early bird check-in is supposed to do, as soon as it hits that 24 hours, they check in automatically for you. Usually you will get in the first A group, but I still find the sooner you buy your early bird check-in, that makes a difference. I once bought early bird check-in. Now, I paid $15. I was in the C group, the end of the C group. There were only 3 people behind me boarding on the entire plane, and I paid money. So even if you buy the early bird check-in, do it early, do it at the time you purchase your tickets, because you can still get stuck going to the end of the line. Now, if you do get early bird, let me tell you something that a lot of sneaky people do. They will have one person in their group buy early bird, and they will save seats for everybody else. Now, technically, the airline doesn't want you doing that, but as you know, flight attendants do not want to raise a ruckus. They're not going to say anything. It's very irritating for people like me that get on the plane, I do everything right, and then you see people that have their coats spread out and blankets and everything else. But if you're traveling with one companion and you get in early, it's probably not going to be too disruptive. If you buy early bird, your companion hits that button at the 24 hours, and they might only be 20, 30 people behind you, and it really isn't all that disruptive if you save the seat next to you. Usually you're saving a middle seat anyway, right? And people aren't really desiring that middle seat. If you're on the aisle or the window and your partner sits next to you, your traveling companion, it isn't very disruptive. So that is something a lot of people do. Be aware of that. Now here's the second thing people often do. The first group will board group A1 through 30. Then what they do is they will board families with young children. Now ideally what's supposed to happen is mommy or daddy is supposed to take, little Jimmy, who's 4 years old and needs some special attention to get on that plane. Here's what really happens. People take advantage. It's annoying, but you might as well prepare for it. They will have little Jimmy, and then mom, dad, 7 uncles, 4 aunts, 4 sets of grandparents. They all get on. So you're seeing one little kid, and they'll have a herd of 10 or 12 people get on with them. It is ridiculous. It's absurd. I wish Southwest would clamp down on that and simply say, 1 child, 1 parent. If they would do that, it would make the boarding process go easier. But it happens, and they will always do that between the 2 A sections. So A1 through 30 gets on. Then they have the boarding of families and people with special needs who might take longer to get on. People walk with canes, maybe wheelchairs, that sort of thing. Then they do A31 through 60. So be aware of that. Hey everybody, I am going to interrupt my own video because there are a couple of options that I failed to mention. First of all, let's clarify the boarding procedure. Getting on a Southwest Airlines plane is like getting on a city bus. You get on the plane, you board the plane in the order as described, and then you just select a seat, whatever seat is available. That's why it is so desirable to get on the plane early because everybody takes the window and the aisle seat. And if you're in one of the last groups, you're looking down the aisle and you see the 350-pound football players with one little seat in between, and it might be your only option. So other than the early bird boarding for $15 or trying to hit that check-in button at exactly 24 hours, there are two other options you can do. I don't recommend them because they're expensive. The first one is Business Select. You can purchase what's called a Business Select ticket. Business Select ticket is quite a bit more expensive. You can check it when you buy your airline ticket and see what the price is, but it allows you to get boarded in that, typically the A1 to A15 group, which is why sometimes when you're waiting in line, you'll see that A1 to 15 is empty because it means nobody purchased the Business Select. You get the early boarding, I think you get a cocktail, and that's it. So you're paying a lot of money for those two privileges. The second thing you can do is upgrade your boarding option at the gate. You can go up to the counter at the gate, and depending on your airport and your city, it could be anywhere from $30 to $40 to $50. So I know not many people do these options, but I thought just for the sake of completeness, I should mention it. Thanks a lot, and back to me. So that is really what boarding is like. So the keys are get early bird boarding, buy it with your ticket if you really are concerned about it and you want ease of boarding, $15. Or hit that check-in button 24 hours on the nose. Now, once you get in, I'm going to tell you a little trick if you want a free beverage with Southwest. First of all, I'm going to encourage everybody to join the frequent flyer programs of any airline that you fly on. Even if you don't have a lot of miles, sometimes they will give you little perks. Southwest has a tendency once or twice a year to send out drink coupons. They usually send a little letter, and at the bottom will have 4 free drink coupons. They expire, and I always forget to bring them with me on the plane, right? Usually I'm flying out in the morning, I'm not going to have a drink anyways, but some people like Bloody Marys or whatever. So if you join the frequent flyer program, you may get the free drink coupons. Now that's alcoholic drinks, of course. The soft drinks are free anyway. Now here's how you can get a free drink from Southwest. It's not a guarantee, but I have never seen it fail. If you are delayed, if there are delays, not talking a significant delay, 45 minutes, something like that, always order a cocktail if you are inclined to do so. Because Southwest, I don't know if it's formal policy, I have never had confirmation, but I've never had it fail. They always comp the drink. They don't announce it. They don't say, hey, we left late, so we're going to comp your drink. But if you buy a drink, they will comp it. So there is just a little pointer about free beverages. Again, very quickly, sign up for the frequent flyer program. You will probably get the coupons. Order a drink. If your flight's delayed, they will probably comp it, at least the first drink. There are your hints for flying with Southwest Airlines. If anybody has any other hints, suggestions, strategies for flying with Southwest, please leave them down below. As always, I do my flight and transportation vlogs on Thursdays. You'll see these hit every Thursday. And I always love it when you leave your comments, when you give me the thumbs up, when you share the videos, and especially when you subscribe. I'm Mark with the Average Me channel.